What it do, boo-boos? We are back with the DreamHack Open in Sevilla, Spain. If you have been sticking with us, you just witnessed 2 maps between Mad Lions and North, and we're going to Vertigo, baby, seeing which of these 2 Lion teams is going to come out on top.
Yeah, I'm still going to lean the way of Mad Lions, but I think we've definitely seen some real resilience. I think Cajun B, as said, he was the rock of the team. Like, he was really tough to break down. In clutch situations, he seemed so calm and collected, whereas some of the other players had some like wild moments. Like, I still remember AZ trying to go for the jumping orb versus A-Core and almost lost them the round because of it, and then 2 seconds later, Cajun just throws an Aiden and kills him off straight away. Doesn't even have to break a sweat. Also, Kirby was online. And I think we started to see more and more players step up for their side. Still yet to see the best out of Yugi, but hopefully he's been saving the best till last, as we now go into Vertigo. A map that we haven't seen too many times from North. Okay, sure, we haven't seen it a massive amount from Mad Lions, but they have, I think it's like an 83% win rate. They've lost it once, and it was 16-14 to Fours, who obviously a high firepower lineup. I think that was when they got eliminated in the last event. So there's definite possibilities, I would say, for North to find holes, but at the same time, I think the Mad Lions in the Veto would have been very happy with this map, and I think they're a team who are actively trying to play this map.
Vertigo's popped up a couple times so far within the Open, and now here in the semifinals. One of the things kind of around this map, you think about the changes that have happened over time, and seeing which team kind of commits to that the most as they come through and attempt to really refine their strategies. But this is where we are going for map number 3 of this series, and I'm excited to see who ends up coming out on top, not just for the series itself, but it is a fun map.
Ooh.
Already some firepower off of the bat. Kirby getting one on to Roy, another pivotal player over on the Mad Lion side, finding not such victories here in the early moments of the pistol round. But it's actually going back and forth. Mad Lions with a great response. 3v3, but both Zhush and Cajun B, only 1 HP difference between them. Bomb directly onto the B site. It's been planted, and Yugi sees if he can find somebody, but it's difficult with the cover that has been offered and no utility to try and force them out of it. Because of that, Yugi ends up taking a big, heavy hit for himself. He's loved sitting around here on these outer portions. All about who's going to get that peek, and Gade ends up at the end of the barrel for Zhush, who gets the 2 to leave Yugi all alone, rotating over from the E-boxes. Tries to go towards the bomb, clears one off, and the time is starting to dwindle down. With that, Mad Lions, Bubsky the one to stand and bring them round number 1.
Yeah, a good round from Shush there. Not only manages to get 3 kills, I think he gets a dink onto the 4th, and also just uses his Molotov. You can see that most of the time he will check the right side there, because before that he'd thrown his own Molotov down to make sure that they couldn't peek him, and that makes that angle really difficult to close down. Also, to note at the beginning, they did the running boost round the side of the wall. Unfortunately, I think it was Roy just gets headshot straight away the second he hits the ground, so I always like to see things like that. It's risky because, of course, if you screw it up, you throw someone off the map. But, you know, I think Roy is definitely the man who's willing to take that risk.
With most attention paid over towards A, and North only working with pistols, they've lined everybody else up for the potential A ramp push. Hunden was the one located there. There's some follow-up from the rest of the team. A-Core taken to the lower angle and able to get that long shot into the back for AZ to fall. This investment to try and rack up some cash here early on so Mad Lions can just snowball some of these rounds for themselves. Yugi with just a pistol in hand, unlikely to be able to clutch this situation, slowly moving through mid to see if he finds any opposition.
Yeah, definitely got a little bit dicey towards the beginning of the round. You can see Roy very low on HP. A-Core also tagged a little bit, but, well, when it comes down to it, as you said, there's now a very small possibility. You can see Yugi just going on a little bit of a fact-finding mission, hoping maybe he can pick up a weapon along the way. There was one dropped towards the ramp, but I'm pretty sure A-Core is now covering that with his life, and all in all, with only a USP, they are going to be buying back up into the next round. There was no investment here coming out from North, so all he really wants is a kill or an AK. Those are the only 2 things, and he gets neither of them. 3 kills for A-Core means that he could actually buy straight in with the AWP if he wants to, although I would actually quite like to see them not do that going into the first round, just because I feel like the SMG can actually be quite impactful with how quick you can maneuver. Also, the chances are most of the CTs won't have head armor, although 3 of them have brought it up knowing that the MAC 10's a possibility. and just being able to get up in the faces. And then if things go wrong, you can buy it in the next round and have as much impact as we've seen from him throughout the tournament so far.
Potential pit play underway is just off the back of that smoke, manages to answer KGB's presence over there on the stairs. But AZ is here for the follow-up, punishes him for the misdeeds, takes 53 points in HP damage, and that's going to be the HE to finish him off. So Mad Lions managed to work with the utility that they have come with full force.
Yeah, tough retake now as well. No kit. I think the smoke was just thrown down to help Yugi escape, which he will. But this is the man we want to watch. It's Roy. Oh, Gade looks away. Is he going to spot him? He's perfectly placed behind the boxes. I don't think he has any idea. This is brutal. Kirby's going to be the one to take the bullet to the head because of it. I think Gade's now going to be going, whoops. I don't know what happened there. He teleported. He must have done. No, he kind of got past me. It never would have happened. He's actually going to kill off Yugi as well. This is so painful. Watching every player drop. Gade will finally kill the man that he was hoping to earlier. And can he escape? No. Hunden going to kill him off. The AK will be juggled over. And that's a very good end to the round for Mad Lions. They clear off every single remaining player of North, make some money along the way, and now can go into round number 4, facing off against only pistols.
Yeah, so far so good from them. Haven't put North in a position where they could really come through with a lot of force, though they did have rifles during that last round, so it's a kind of a feels bad man when you have to end up dropping those. With round number 4, North have elected to set over 2 onto the B site, occupying A. Roy takes to this lower angle once again, tries to find something through the smoke and the little bit of peek he was able to do above it, but you hear that heavy deagle shot damage that could be coming out from the opposite side. You don't want to get too sloppy in catching one of those bullets.
Yeah, this is another round where we're just looking at Mad Lions to try and keep things nice and clean. You can see the majority of them fairly huddled up. And then it's Bubsky just being patient on the other side of the map, waiting in case there's an attempted flank. Now, it's looking like he is going to have some friends to play with fairly soon. Doesn't want to risk giving away that gun. He's going to spot out KGB, but that's a nice shot by Kirby. Even as just an individual kill, that will net him an AK-47. But now the actual execution comes into play.
Gives North the freedom to start moving over towards the A site too, without that one pivotal rotation player to worry about. Smoke set off over into the back of the site. Jush gets answered, and Mad Lions do plant the bomb, but only have Hunden and Acor here to defend it. Over in the back scaffolding too, North might be a little timid to make the rotation in. It's all about who's going to catch that angle. Cajun B keeping his eyes on a very expected rotation from Mad Lions, both of them popping out an unopportune moment. This is going to be the diffuse. North get their first round of the half.
You can just see Kirby just laughing at KGB because I think he thought there was a little bit less time on the clock. So he's like, oh, I've got to get into the Molotov, burns to death, and then Kirby goes, all right, cool, I'm going to defuse the bomb. That's a big round for them, though. That is huge. They managed to win with literally just Eagles. Big plays coming out from Kirby, but also KGB when he pushes back in and gets 2 shots off the back of that. And yeah, they've stolen a round from absolutely nothing. You can see the boost to their economy. They picked up 2 AKs and an AWP. So those 3 players are going to have $3,000+ to spare. And the T's are going to have to spend everything they've got to buy back into this one. So a massive round for North early on in this. Now they've got to try and start building from here. If they just let Mad Lions break straight back, then it's a bit more of a problem.
Dicey territory for both of these squads. Lots of consequences on the line for a loss for both T or CT. Money issue for Mad Lions. North wanting to get this ramped up into some strung together rounds and take advantage of that unexpected win during the last. A little bit of nade damage and some smokes too.
Yeah, much more patient round. I think they're maybe expecting North to go hunting a little bit, try and find out some information. The B site for them has been a bit of a haven of success. Obviously, the first few rounds, we didn't really see too much of a buy, but the one buy that we did have on this site, they won it overwhelmingly clean and then just had to hunt down the remaining weapons. A bit more utility this time. Cajun actually caught in the open, but he'll survive. Manages to fall into the corner, but eventually falls completely. Push through from AZ. It's risky, but it does get him a kill. And look at the flank. There's a man around the back behind him. He's got eyes in the back of his head, and will just take off the head of Gade in the end, leaving just Yugi and Kirby, and well, never mind. They're going to go fleeing the scene in this another round, and that B site, as said, it just works for Mad Lions.
Even with the fact that Cajun B was able to get a kill that shouldn't have been happened, the position he was in, very expected, but unexpected for that successful follow-up. Luckily for Mad Lions, they are able to break through the ranks. Rely upon the consistency that they have found over on this B site. And with that, the two remaining members of North are just going to look to save their stolen weapons for the round past. Kirby makes sure that he secures that too, picking up another kill. First one of that round, but he has been heating up throughout the series.
Yeah, and those two weapons they use are exactly what they needed. Because, as said, they had 3 players with enough money to buy. So this 2 players saving actually gives them a purchase into this round, and it should be a pretty decent one, although, okay, I was about to say, I was looking at Kirby without a gun and 3,000, I was about to lose my mind, but no, he did have an AK drop to him, or the one that he kept, and as said, this will be a decent purchase. The problem is they've had so much success on that B site, it does worry me a little bit, even if the trades do come in, those players just seem to be a little bit late to rotate. It could be because they're just worried that it is going to be a fake and they're going to get thrown off, so. And the problem is as well, most teams do have the A site as their focal point. So if Mad Lions have become very good at taking the B site, some of the teams that don't play this map so much might actually struggle to deal with that.
That's kind of one of those things that has been made possible by the changes that have happened on Vertigo. It used to be a prioritization for everybody, and it seems like the teams that have taken these changes as a chance to try and make B plays have found more success, and that success continues into this round as Mad Lions get the first kill of it. Yugi on that op that he stole in times past, starting to get burned down slowly but surely to 13, and AZ falls in the process. Mad Lions managed to get the bomb down too, and with that, as tagged up as they may be, everybody but just taking some damage, it doesn't matter. They find that finish off for the last 13 that was on Yugi. Kirby gets an answer, but North are still outnumbered. Rifles available to them, but no utility to boot, so Mad Lions feeling pretty confident in their ability to not just hold this, maybe they'll run into somebody to take one of those rifles off, but that's exactly what North are hoping doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think for the T's as well in this scenario, like, of course they'd like to hunt down the weapons, but they don't have a massive economy themselves. So they're just going to play it safe, hold on to their guns. I think Kirby just got scared by the pain pot a little bit, but no, there's nobody going to push him in this scenario. But again, like, it seems like a lot of the rounds that Mad Lions are winning, they're winning very easily. Like, it's just like a basic execution, and either like they get the first couple of kills and then North have to save, or it's just like the execution they do, just North aren't able to deal with it. It seemed as well that Gade in that round, it just got, he didn't even get caught off because it seemed like he saw the player coming around the corner and then almost forgot to shoot, which is a bit weird. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that it was just a mistake, but if he's playing an aggressive position, he needs to be prepared for someone to come around the angle, and he needs to get that opening kill because the rest of the team were way too far back to actually help.
Mistakes like that can seem not as big a deal in isolation, but if they add up to more victories for Mad Lions, it can become extremely problematic if they're allowed to completely run away with this T half. Round number 7 opens up with Roy still on. He's back on this op. Took a lot of damage, but should still be fine.
Yeah, he was given the ult because he took the damage, I think. Yeah. I don't think Acor's decided to give that one up just yet, but okay, you got no HP, I guess you can have the ult. But once again,
that makes sense.
They're looking at this B execution. There's been a 0% success rate so far for this B side defense. Cajun B, he's going to be in the corner. AZ needs to help him out, and he's just holding that back angle. There's already a player low. Peek out from AZ's good though. The flashbang timing's perfect. And because of that, AZ's going to be able to get 2. In fact, well, Gade steals one away. Now it's left on Dubonsky. At least has the bomb planted to help him out that little bit. Gets the first, but AZ, again, I'm going to count that as a triple because one of them was technically stolen. And he does the majority of the work. Also, a great flashbang coming out from Yugi as well. He may not necessarily be doing all the work with his AWP, but that flash left the one player who could properly defend that bomb completely blind. That's the first successful round we've had with an actual retake coming in.
Which is good news for North, because now you know you can do it, and that can actually say a lot about how maybe you can make those little tweaks to your strategy from there on out, whereas before they were having difficulty even setting up onto the site for the retake whatsoever. Mad Lions got a little broken apart there, which is why they're going to take this tactical pause.
Yeah, I like this. They're still firmly in the lead, of course, 5-2 up. But this is another pivotal round. This is the one where if they lose it, they'll run out of money. So they're going to take the time here and go, okay, let's make sure that this streak continues. Let's not give them a way back into the map. And I think that's always a sign of a good team, when you take a pause when you're in the lead rather than just when things go absolutely or catastrophically wrong.
All about thinking ahead, right? Sometimes you really need to take it round by round. For instance, on the last map, where when every single one can be a map point, but here you got to be thinking almost 3 rounds ahead. Just finds ahead too.
Yeah, this is starting to be a problem. The fact that their B site defense has been mainly just cajunb or cajunb and AZ, and cajunb either gets 1 kill or he gets no kills and then dies. And it's not enough if you're the B site anchor. AZ seems to be doing a better job of it, at least for now, and he will trade that back into a 4 versus 4, but it seems like cajunb is getting overwhelmed. Roy goes to the peak. An avenue we've not seen utilized too much, goes running through, and well, I think Kirby's going to be happy to take more battles like that throughout the day. A 1v1 is something you'd almost bet on him to win. Even still though, I was about to say, Bubsky had gained an awful lot of ground, but Gade is there to turn things, and now a 2v4. Make that 3, still going to be tough.
And commitment over towards this B site. Some fall on both sides. North do outnumber Mad Lions, as it's just A-Core with the op. Difficult if anyone starts to surprise him. He's going to be moving with the bomb, doesn't want to go for the plant until he can at least secure one of these CTs into the dirt. But Yugi finds him first, so North bring this to 3. 5-3 onto the scoreboard, starting to even up the odds.
Yeah, smart from Yugi especially there. Because it's very easy if you know that he's on the site to want to go for that peak and try and take the fight. Instead, he puts himself in a position where I'm pretty sure like a Gold Nova 2 could have hit that shot. But that's what makes him a good player, is the fact that he makes sure that he has the 100% shot available to him, rather than taking one where A-Core can be waiting or be patient. We're going to see the Glock train once again, and by AZ, I think he's deserved a stat pack. He's going to get the ace. Absolutely everybody goes down, and yeah, after he had a kill or 2 stolen away in the earlier rounds, he deserves it.
You took my numbers from me before, so now I will make up for it all.
This is really clean as well. Even if it is against Glocks, it's still very easy in those scenarios to get overwhelmed or run out of bullets, but...
Yeah, the whole point of it. Hey, we got more numbers than you. Let's try and get you with one of our pistols, but in the end, AZ was able to just blaze them all down. So now going into this round, we have more of an even matchup, as Mad Lions has been able to purchase the AKs. A Galil over for Hunden, often making the sacrifice for his team. North still holding on to that op since Yugi was able to survive with it, and they have the stolen AK onto Kirby.
Flash going to go through to give Cajun the opportunity. I'm interested that we haven't seen too many spams through the wood. Like, if you watch someone like S-Tag from Heroic, he will get 5 to 10 kills a game just spamming through the wood there, because he just knows all the angles. But we haven't seen anybody really doing that. Maybe not wanting to give away some of the positions, or they might have a different plan overall, being a little bit more sneaky. But it would be a good way to at least try and clear Kirby from these angles, is just make it so that there's bullets constantly flying past his face. Like, even just as a distraction, it's useful. And there you go. You start seeing some of the spam coming out from Bubsky. He is another player who does do it occasionally. We are going to see a flurry of frags coming in for this CT side. Trade from Shush. We're back in a 2v2.
Smoke affording cover to the T side. Cajun and Yugi are gonna have to make a move for it soon. Try to fire into the smoke, but it's not enough to keep this bomb from getting planted. So Mad Lions attempt to position themselves appropriately as A-Core. It does pay off for him. Should be able to get the site over, but gets caught out. So North end up falling to everybody. Mad Lions just showing that they really know that site very well. As soon as they get into post-plant positioning with the couple that they did have standing, they know exactly where to peek.
That's another 4v2 loss, though, for North. And this is what I mean. Like, I feel like there's, again, great synergy between the two remaining players of Shush and Acor, but that's not a round that you should ever be losing if you're North. You had 4 players on the A site where the bomb was going and the 2 players pushed in and you lost. Like, and it looked easy. Like, it didn't even look like they really broke a sweat doing it. So, obviously, North did do the work in the first place to get those opening picks. But the problem is, you can't give those up. You can never give those up. That's got to be a round win for them, and they've given a lifeline over. They've also lost the opening pick. Kirby trying to be a little bit more aggressive. This is an angle that, is going to be predicted. Like, it's a very, very common angle to take, especially when you're a man down. Of course, Shush is going to be probing on the other side of the map, and already another tag hit with that AWP.
With that, they do get to move across this ramp more effectively. A place that you do have to be a bit more slower than you used to. Wider opening, more smokes necessary to cut it off. But since they took out one of the CTs, there's another CT trying to rotate through that same passageway. But Roy looks over, checks it, and finds that target. One still standing over onto A, but it's the bomb moving towards B. Once again, Bubsky caught out on that rotation. The Cajun B standing for the CTs. Gonna get sandwiched in, so Acor with the op, Mad Lions bring down another round.
Yeah, like that ended up being just a ring around the rosy for Mad Lions, just running back and forth between the two sides. But again, it's Acor on that op. It's just so good. Like it must be absolutely horrible to play against. Like he always seems to have the right angle, he has the right read, and he's lightning fast with his ability to just kill off players when they're running around a corner. Like a lot of people would have been caught off with the AWP in that scenario. And now, after what was a streak of rounds, again we sit with just pistols available. You're gonna spray wild. See, that's what I mean. Like when it was, that's why AZ's eco kills were actually more impressive than you think. Like obviously it's an eco ace, so everybody go, well, eco ace, but it's easy to get overwhelmed, and that's going to be an AK into the hands of Gade. We've seen this work for them before, but that was when they had a lot of Deagles and they had Kevlar. This time it's a much more bare bones buy, and I would expect Gade to hold on to this.
I feel like when you end up picking up all those pistol players, it's one of those things that never looks impressive, but when you've experienced it, you realize how impressive it is. And Shush, with the AK though, having an easier time finding that. Yugi Hunden with the smash into Gade, and Mad Lions once again outnumbering the opposition. Kirby weak, down to 22. This just leaves A open for that plant to continue on. Maybe get caught out by somebody, but all of Mad Lions are just going to keep backing off of this and secure another round.
Yeah, there's no reason for them to hunt here because they know that their opposition doesn't have anything.
Yeah, just a Deagle. You don't want to go and put yourself in a super risky situation for a Deagle, no?
Well, the reason Hunden was hunting initially was because they knew that they'd given an AK over.
Right.
The second he retrieves the AK, he's like, okay, we've got all the AKs, right, guys? Cool.
Yep.
Not hunting anymore. No value to it. Sure, he could have made a little bit of extra money off the SMG, but we are going to see a pause now. I'm going to guess that this is for North. Yep, it comes up on the screen as I say it. And that's because now things are starting to slip away from them again. They had a break in the middle where they got 3 rounds in a row off the back of that pistol win. And that actually gave them, that gave them the extra win that they got afterwards. And then they had obviously the pistols that they managed to beat with the AZ Ace. So other than that, it has pretty much still just been an easy day at the office for Mad Lions, which I think Acor has to be someone that's highlighted. He's been very good at getting the opening picks, but we're also seeing a lot of the other players step up. Like, this is more what we expect to see, like everybody on the board performing and not just one individual.
Round number 13 begins. North have equipped themselves with more M4s all the way across the board. Slight utility for them. They're still going to be facing into that Acor AWP. Kirby has been sticking to this position for a couple rounds now, but it's been extremely predicted. Despite the prediction and the Molotovs coming down from the T side, Kirby manages to clean up Roy. Mad Lions now working in a player deficit. Acor also finding bullets into himself. The bomb is on the move over towards the A site, but a heavy preoccupation from the CT side. Hunden and Bubsky trying to rotate over from scaffold, staying into the back of the site. Hugie finds it with the M4. But Bubsky also brings down their numbers a tad. The 3v4 ensues, and the rest of North have rotated onto the site from the ramp. The T's look up into the scaffolds, and instead they just find bullets into their face. Bubsky and Zhush still here, defending this bomb to the best of their abilities. Smoke's helping them out with that one, as AZ tries to peek over it. Maybe on the jump he can find, sees that Bubsky was passing on by, and luckily hands that over like a hot potato to Cajun B. Season it with that Cajun sauce as AZ also picks it up onto Zhush, and plenty of time for the defuse. North bringing themselves back into this after the timeout that they took.
Yeah, the teammates as well, they bolster the defense a little bit when it comes to that take, and also like a couple of decent flanks. Like you had Gade coming in from behind the first time, and then Cajun B with a delayed push through as well. So they do a bit better in their flanking scenario. Of course, money-wise, it's not going to do too much of a dent to that of Mad Lions. They're still going to be purchasing into this round, but they've now got the AWP for Yugi. Now, again, I feel like I'm railing on the guy a bit, but we've not seen anything yet. He got aggressive once, and he got his head blown off. So I'm hoping that that won't deter him too much, because I do think that trying to take some of that map control away is going to be valuable. And we currently see that we're not seeing too much in terms of aggression out from him at the moment. Once again, they're going to try and put pressure onto Cajun B. Now, so far, they managed to win this once, and it was more so off of a good flash that came in from Yugi and AZ doing most of the heavy lifting. Cajun B has been caught out too many times on this site, and look again, he is the only defender. If he dies, they have a free roam onto the site. But luckily for him, it seems like there's other ideas. Now, Kirby is in a far more aggressive position than we've seen from them so far. Now, the problem is, normally you'll get a Molotov into this situation, but because it's not been utilized by North at all, maybe they'll forget about it.
Maybe. Yeah, without a Molly to go ahead and alter his positioning, it can be difficult. I would like to see them try to call it. Roy seems to be wondering if there's anyone hanging in the back there. Smoking off the heaven back of the site. And there it is. Yeah, nobody knew that he was sitting there, and before they even figure it out, it's too late. He already picks up two. And even though they know he's there, it's difficult because all they've got is a single smoke on the side of Mad Lions and two players to boot. North full force with all five, despite the flash coming out. They lose Gade, but they still stand strong with the rest of them. Kirby's forced to rotate off of that position just because he kind of overstayed his welcome, but it doesn't matter. Yugi cleans it up, and North continue to bring themselves back into this going into round number 15.
Yeah, that was disappointing just because you could tell that Roy knew he hadn't checked it, but at the same time, they still didn't check it. So it's just kind of infuriating. Like, I understand that based off what North have done so far, it's very easy to suggest that there wouldn't be anybody there, but at the same time, that was literally the worst player in the whole server that you could have done that with. Just give space over. Utility damage this time is phenomenal. Cajun B's just tagged half the team down. Yugi's even going to be there to support him this time. I think they've expected this to turn into a B play just because of the success that was there previously. The peek out, he does so much damage but doesn't get a kill. It's actually Yugi off the back of the Molotov, and that drops the bomb. AZ going to go running in, trying to be the hero, and he may just be that. 2 kills down, it's left on to Roy. And 1 versus 2, and he's going to get flanked. An 8-7 half in the end. As close as it can possibly be. And we'll be back to see who's going to take this map and this series after the break.
Welcome back, friends, family, and everyone in between. We are in map number 3 of this best of 3 series, semifinals Mad Lions and North, bringing it as close as it could possibly be in the first half, 8-7 in favor of Mad Lions. That will now be taking over to the CT side. Lots of success for them on the B side during that first half, and we'll have to see what North end up prioritizing as the rounds begin to stack up here in the second half.
Yeah, they've got quite a lot of utility, but to be honest, that doesn't really tell us too much about the play they're going to make, because you do need a Molotov for the back of site on the B side, but you also need a couple of smokes as well for the A side take if you're going to be making anything. And falling into a default early in the round, maybe hoping that they'll get the opener and can make the decision that way. Roy still sat in mid. You're looking for that peak, and Kirby's on the other side. He really was massive for them when it came to that first half. 14-7. Still been putting up numbers throughout the last couple of maps that they've been able to take. And well, one of the main reasons I think they're still in the tournament at the moment.
Cajun be knocked down to 36, but that's not going to stop their movement. He's just over on the opposite side to try and feed any information anyway, so if anyone's going to start taking that damage, North is okay with him being the culprit. Mad Lions begin to start pushing out towards the A site. And in response, the utility that is there does begin to come down. Yugi off the back of that flash takes down Roy. Smoke's used and fire as well. There's the bomb plant, and Mad Lions now with the timer on the clock for them to try and clear off this site. All of them gathered into the back portion to try and push on through. But the ramp is also preoccupied, as it tends to be, by the T's. AZ behind the sandbags to try and get some kind of fire off. Gade picks one up, same with Kirby. North are picking them off, and now it's just A-Core. Too many angles at which he can be sought out, though. Still get some fire onto Cajun B, but North wins the first round of this half.
Yeah, important that they do. Get off to that strong start, get the momentum rolling in their favor. They still have players popping off by the looks of things. Kirby able to get a couple in that scenario as they push back into the site. And while I think they needed more, really, from Roy in the initial attempt to slow down this push, because after it falls into the afterplants, especially using those Molotovs and smokes well, it does become that little bit tougher. Smoke going to be thrown down initially, just in case for any aggression, allowing Cajun B to actually cross into the corner. He's going to be dunked by a nade by the looks of it. Still just waiting patiently, and a full investment here for Mad Lions. It means that if they do lose this round, they'll have to wait one eco and then buy up, likely with the AWP. You can see A-Core already saving the cash to do just that.
Indicates that Mad Lions are very aware that North cannot be allowed to run away with the momentum off of that round number 16. A-Core saying, yep, we made this investment for a reason. I've got the Deagle in my hand. I'm gonna get these kills. I've been getting them throughout this entire series. And Yugi, who we have been constantly putting the pressure on to step up for his team, has been managing to pick up some within here in Vertigo. But is some enough? Jush found at the hand of Kirby. North continued to pressure on in. Still 3 standing, but Gade brought all the way down to 2. Will be positioning Yugi into the back of that corner so that he can keep his best angle. Notice there's the CT going over by the E-boxes. Bubsky's positioned himself down at the bottom of those stairs, and A-Core finds it onto Gade. Another Deagle shot for him. As now 2 stand, Yugi taking off that corner side, and boom, baby, that's it. Mad Lions proving their investment is worth it. No pistol round necessary for them in the next.
Yeah, that was just intelligent play all across the board from A-Core. The flashbang that he throws is not even to use as a flashbang. It's just to fake out the peak, because he knew that there was a man in a corner. I don't know how, but the guy's just a genius. And then, obviously, Bubsky coming in with the MAC-10 at the end. But, yeah, some wonderful shots. This one, he doesn't even wait for the flash to go off. He just uses it to fake out Gade. And then, in the end, this shot was just beautiful. Clean as you like. Another round stolen away, and we're already going to see a pause called by Gade, maybe just wanting to calm his players down a little bit. Also in a position where it's a decision whether or not they actually force. Now, they are going to take that risk. It looks like they're going to give an AK over to, I'm guessing, Kirby and Gade, which I definitely don't think are bad choices in terms of the game. I think Gade actually had played some of his best Counter-Strike when he was more of an entry fragger rather than the in-game leader. And of course, Kirby, well, he's their best player, so it's not really a surprise if they do give him over a weapon. On the other side of things, A-Core doing enough means that he's now able to afford an AWP, and I think that's the last piece of news that North would have wanted to hear, is that the star of the show so far for Mad Lions now has his weapon of choice.
With his weapon and choice in hand, everybody else trying to get as much money as possible. Bubsky is rocking the M4 here, so it's allowing him to try and fire confidently into the smoke, but that confidence wasn't enough for him to be able to close it out. Risk indeed. So he gives his life over. Nonetheless, we'll have to see what North end up doing with that, because there's no need to try and push in too aggressively until you have a little more information available to you.
Well, by the looks of things, that might actually be what they do. It looks like they're all gathering up into this A site, and Roy's actually the only defender. He's going to have to do something pretty damn impressive. Looks away from the flash. Probably going to call for a rotation now. I think he's going to need it. Incendiary will at least buy a little bit of extra time. But it's just patient from them. They don't really need to go for anything too risky. Hunden comes in on the flank, and that might actually trigger them to go for the push, not wanting to get flanked in. So Gade's going to lead the charge with that AK. He's going to get the entry kill onto Roy as well. Acor still sits above, but it seems like Gade knows he's there, and especially after the scope, that will give a lot of information, hoping he can maybe find Yugi as he pops up, but isn't going to. And now the T's, they've retrieved some weaponry, and they have a strong chance in this 4v3.
Acor trying to even it out to the best of his abilities, but the utility just blocking it off too much, so he's forced to back off into the window. Mad Lions still have 3, they're just all separated across, so they're gonna try their best to hold on to what they've got. North wanting to tie this up. Just great pushing of them in and taking advantage of the limited presence that Mad Lions had.
Well, it's basically what I said. I think Gade is a sick entry fragger. That's actually why I'd like to see someone almost join the team as an in-game leader, because I think he's very confident in the way he plays when he's entry fragging. I think that he's got decent aim for sure. Like, I just think it's not necessarily always shown when he is forced into a role that I don't know how well he's doing. It's difficult to say, of course, because I'm not within the comms, and even if I was, I don't speak Danish, so it wouldn't be too valuable. Maybe I could, his voice sounds quite passionate here. Maybe he is a good in-game leader. But that's what I mean. It's hard to tell from the outside, but at the same time, I feel like his individual level has fallen off a bit, and we see that when he's in these scenarios, he can perform very well. And while Roy now, that's 3 rounds in a row maybe that I think he's been caught off by aggressive plays. Last round I can forgive a little bit because he was pressured quite heavily, but that's a very easy kill for Kirby to take, even if the flashbang was good.
Mad Lions are still working with that SMG power too. Committing to that to try and fill their bank. It's not much. Resides there. Tied up game 9-9. North with a slew of AKs, and still the stolen M4 Yugi has been able to pick up. KZ also rocking that difference. But they're in the lower portion of the site. Mad Lions continuing to keep themselves spread across, unsure if the play is going to be for A or B, despite North definitely prioritizing A in the past, as many teams have chosen to do. And it looks like that's exactly what may be happening here once again. Utility tries to stop any rotations in and make this a cleaner push up from the ramp. There's some what you're talking about.
Yeah, they went for a little bit of a spam, but the problem is the smoke's held them back. Bobsky with a decent timing, and he's going to be able to retrieve an AK. Are they going to go running back? They are. They're going to try and make that retreat because of the aggression that's been pulled by Cajun B. They are going to have the time to get the bomb down, but it's all down to Cage. He sprays down to Acor quick enough with the trade. Can he get there in time to try and deny the bomb? Well, it may not need to be him. Bubsky actually coming in. The flashbang goes down. All they need is the kill onto the bomb, but it fails. Bubsky gets taken down from behind. It's left onto Acor, and he can't connect the shot. That kill onto Bubsky was the most important kill of the round, because if he gets a single shot onto the bomb planter, the bomb is not planted, and Acor can just scurry away. At the same time, North now break the economy of the CT side, get their 10th onto the board, and can head forward, just like we saw in Dust 2.
This is a tight map, y'all. 10-9 in North's favor. If you look at the way the first half went, it wasn't necessarily a back and forth, except for a couple portions of it. It does come down to kind of being able to get these runs of rounds.
There's like 3 or 4 in a row a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think the lowest amount there was at one point it traded, but that was that. Here, the trades are starting to go in the favor of North. Right off of that angle, or not, yes, North. Sorry, I was looking over at Mad Lions for a second, because Roy and Shush were marked down so low at that point that they can't afford to really aggressively position themselves on the defense or go into this for any point. They want to just hold on to what they've got.
Well, it looks like the plan for Bubsky at least is just to bring the weapon into the next round, and his teammates are surrounding him for support.
We got you, fam. We got you. It's a prized AK that we've stolen and are holding on to.
For the T's, I don't think they're really going to mind. As I said, the last few rounds have been relatively close, at least in the terms of the way they went. So having a clean round like this, where they can get 4 players standing and can make some real bank going into that T side, that's going to be important to them. I don't think they're going to be too worried about like what purchases are coming up for the CT side. By the looks of it, there's not going to be an AWP for Acor, so that avenue of offensive AWPing is going to be gone. And we'll have to see how they adapt because of that. Are they going to send a few extra players over towards the ramp, maybe, just to try and smoke it and take it off? They've attempted that a few times, but ultimately been very unsuccessful in these sort of plays. And it is going to be that same case again, but Easy doesn't look like he's having any of it. He's going to go running straight up and just remove all that control. It's actually quite valuable, even though he doesn't kill anyone, even though he takes, or at least Gabe takes a bit of damage. They've managed to take the ramp within 20 seconds.
That's a huge deal. Very important portion of this map to gain control of. And with that, Gade also manages to finish it off on Roy, who's had a hard time. Hunden gets it through the wall, but nonetheless, Gabe continues with the action in this round. 2 frags for him so far. As the T's don't have the bomb, they're not ready to make that play yet, even though they have some control over in this area. Through the passageway, the 2 CTs go. A Yugi here, starting to ramp up once more. He's got that op in hand, and no op to worry about for the rest. Acor says, hello, sir, I see you. This is mine now. But they're still outnumbered.
Yeah, Shush is going to have to do a fantastic job of holding this side, especially because he is going to be pushed from behind him while Kirby makes that lurk work well. The bomb actually does get dropped. Acor, if he can get this second shot, then there's a possibility. Flashbang just going to be used to force him off the angle. But the bomb's actually up on the stairs, so I think it's more down to Kirby to run down, pick it up, and just run back away, which is exactly what he does. And well, I think he's just spotted Cajun B, but that's a lovely shot from Acor. Turns into the 1 versus 1, looking to be the hero for his team once again. Nades going left and right. The smoke goes down. He's going to run through it. Tries to go for a little bit of a 360 no-scope, but unfortunately, that's not going to work out. 12-9. Again, it comes down to a hero play, though, because I feel like, sure, Acor did a good job there, but the rest of the players in the round, I just don't like a lot of what we're seeing. Like, we even see just 2 kills there with someone trying to play through that smoke. Both Bubsky, and I think it was Hunden, doing basically the same thing. And Gage just like, yep, 1 kill for me, nom nom nom. Oh, there's another one, wonderful. Like, he didn't even have to try.
There's AZ though. He's had some great moments. Off of that utility, manages to pick up 3.
This could be another eco.
Shush, yeah. But it's still like, I mean, I just like the way that, if you look at the way that AZ has been able to perform in some of the past maps, right now he's at 19 frags in total. But there were times where he was completely lining up and just showed how collected he can be, whether it be eco or otherwise. So taking these moments in these eco rounds.
He's had 2 aces in eco rounds.
Yeah.
He's the eco king.
And that's the thing, yeah, it doesn't look as pretty as some of the other times, but it just shows what he's able to do.
The funny thing is, that means that he has 10 kills in 2 rounds and 11 kills in the rest. Like, he is the eco god, which, hey, it's still valuable for the team. It means that they're keeping these rounds relatively clean. You can see the money now built up for North. Of course, it's not going to be the one necessarily winning them the most integral rounds in the game, but Kirby's been doing a lot of that. You can't really complain that in that sense. And while they're 13-9 up and potentially about to eliminate the other Lions on the other side.
Yeah, anything to extend that lead, right? Especially since we ended the first half at 8-7. You're really hoping to have some kind of leeway with somewhat of a cushion. No one has really had an opportunity to work with much of a cushion, even despite it going on these runs. First time in this effort to really start to surmount to something.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, this happened in the previous map as well for North, and in all honesty, Mad Lions probably should have brought that back and taken it to overtime. We'll see if they can do it here. Double instead of invested him, a nice shot from AZ. This time, it's an impactful kill. Roy has had an absolute nightmare. I think that's his first kill in about 6 rounds, but he finally steps up to the plate. And is he going to be able to escape? I don't really like him taking this battle. Like, it's just unnecessary. Hands away another kill. Could have just looked to retreat, but instead AZ's going to double up on the ramp, and well, they have to almost try and rotate players away, and again, they've managed to get him from behind. They're taking so much map control. Hunden, he's dead for sure. There should be absolutely no way that he's able to find Kirby. Well, again, it's the exact same kill we saw Kirby get just a couple of rounds ago. Get the flank, round done, 14 on the board for North.
preoccupation in the pit, which makes sense to spend your attention that way. It unfortunately means you have to pay your life for it, though, again, at the hand of Kirby. This should be going over to North, as they have been having a great performance over here on their T side. More of an even distribution between their attention paid to both of these sites, too, compared to Mad Lions that clearly spent time trying to work on their B executes, since so many teams haven't done that in the past year on Vertigo. And Mad Lions haven't been able to keep up with it as much.
Well, I think the other thing as well is that, at least in this map, it seems like Roy especially has been unable to get away with the things that he's been able to do pretty much against everybody. He's currently 1-5 in opening duels. He has got 57 ADR. Now compare that to when they played the exact same map versus Illumina. He was top in the server, 112, sorry, ADR overall. And I think, again, in opening duels, he was doing very well. So it's the difference maker here. Like, he's been trying to do the same thing again and again. And as said, I think that's the first kill he's had in maybe 6 rounds. That might be exaggerated slightly, but he is struggling. And it is noticeable, because he's normally one of the best players on the whole team.
Acor with 20. Closest one after that is Bubsky with 14. Shush with 12, and then Hunden and Roy tied for 10. That's the thing, too, if you're looking at the IGL that you expect to be in the bottom of the server and you're tied up with them after having such an impact in past performances on this very map, then that clearly is showing a problem. As displayed on the scoreboard, 9-14. North 2 away from putting this into their pocket the entire series in total. But right off the bat, the utility and some more, starting to get some spray. AZ almost knocked out completely, down to 4 HP he goes, and with the final bullet from Bubsky through the smoke, that's gonna find it for him.
And this is the difference. This is what I want to point out. This is not something we've seen from Mad Lions the majority of the time. They like to continuously fight this ramp position. Sure, Acor sticks around for like a fadeaway frag, but the other two, after they get their kills, they leave the position. They take the man advantage, and they force North to now play with less players, which I think is going to be the beneficiary way to play the game. Like, not giving up. The nade fails a little bit. Acor going to be burning down, but the smoke is available from his teammate. Nice shot from Yugi, though. However, do they expect the second player to be here? Roy now lurking within the smoke. Now, normally you will never have 2 players over towards these sandbags, so I will be surprised if they do check this on the T side. And that means that Roy should at least have 1, 2, and well, can he get the last one as well? Oh, not quite. He's got his pistol out. Oh, Yugi's going to be allowed to run away. He's going to go chasing him. And Yugi just scurries away as fast as his little legs can carry him. But yeah, I think that was a big surprise. A bit of a change-up of strategy. The aggression finally paying off in heaps. And well, as said, I do not blame North for not checking for that second player. Like, you'd have to have ultimate big brain, 300 IQ to work out that he was there.
Ultimately a fan of that strategy. They were sitting in that spot waiting for that rotation to happen. Both of them positioned there for quite a while. And sandbags, while it is such a heavy target for utility, they knew one would go down and the other one just had to trust they were going to be able to follow up. Waiting on Roy to do so, did so then. And now we'll see if he can actually follow up once more. Bubsky gets the first to crack this, but they lose Acor in the process. Mad Lions still outnumber 4-2 at this point with that op shot from Jush. The 2 Ts that are up are completely separated. Bomb in neither of their hands. And now Cajun B able to pick it up, crosses the bridge over towards the old forklift area, keeping his eyes on this ramp. And right at the top of it, Bubsky is looking to find the rotation.
Again, we're not going to see the overconfidence we've seen from Mad Lions before. Hunden, careful here, but he does enough damage that it doesn't really matter now. 2 HP if Cajun B clutches this one out. I think he should get some sort of like knighthood. I don't know if that's that's a thing in Denmark. He can just be knighted by the English Queen instead. Why not? Because this would be probably the most impressive clutch ever. Also, money-wise, him saving this could actually be the more valuable play. The problem is there's so much time on the clock that I think even he'll be looking at his watch going, oh, can we just fast forward this a little bit?
Yeah.
And I don't think the CTs are going to overhunt. The real worry for me, though, when it comes to Mad Lions is I still don't think they've adapted too much. Like, sure, they've been a little bit safer in their plays, but the difference has just been that Roy's aggression is now working. which was something that was really well countered. I actually like North's strategy there, the change of pace, just to try and not allow them to set up in that little trifecta they had in the previous round. They just rush them down, and unfortunately for them, I think it's Bubsky wins the opening battle, and then from then on, it basically just comes trade. But there we go, time filled. The watch, he can stop looking now, and he'll be able to hold on to his SG, which, as said, it's the right thing to do. It's just not very exciting.
A nice opportunity to drink some water, hydrate, get your thoughts together going into the next rounds. Best thing for everyone there was to wait out the clock, so just understood agreement at that point.
But why drink water when you could drink Monster?
I guess everyone's different, right? I like a combination of the two, but don't water down my Monster baby.
Yeah,
I don't like.
say, do you mix them?
Yeah, not together. You gotta alternate the sips. Always amped up on Vertigo, though. Very fast-paced map where sometimes you don't need that caffeine to keep yourself focused here, since anyone can just pop out for some sick play. North have been up for the past few rounds, but Mad Lion, that was the 2 last rounds that they were able to put. And with that, that's why they've got a double op setup this time. So Zhush and Acor both holding on to those. And Yugi still with that op on the opposite side.
They got to be careful of the boost. A little bit of the gun did point out, but I don't think Shush has seen it. Smoke going to land right on his position. He's actually going to play around the edge. Flashbang leaves him blind. Bobsky's able to trade, though. An important one at that. The mid flanks that we've seen coming in so far by the T side has been one of their biggest successes. The amount of times that Kirby has been able to get in on the flank. Yugi, gotta be careful. And, well, for the first time in a while, I can actually say Acor has missed a shot.
Oh my, what a surprise.
He's human.
I didn't know. I had no idea. Thought he was a cyborg up there. For a second, that did draw the attention of Roy with all the action going over towards the mid area, but he's going to fall back over onto the A site to allow Acor to push up more towards that connection. And right here.
Ooh, Yugi kills his teammate as well. He had to do it. He had to go for that shot just to make sure that they didn't all die. The bomb going to be faked down. Actually, they find Bubsky through the smoke. Yugi finally springs to life. It is going to be Roy just running back in, quickly trying to make it into the site.
Can you do it?
He's going to be looking a spot, but hasn't actually seen anything. But the double up of him and Kirby should be enough. The timing going to be everything here. Roy knows that his opponent's there, but it's whether or not Kirby actually spotted him back. Smoke going to be going down and a tiny tag. He's got no utility, and Kirby puts him to the deck. A 15th on the board, and well, it's Yugi to actually do the majority of the work in that round. 15-11. The CT side, they've got money.
But it's a scary situation indeed. Money and everything aside, 15-11 on this scoreboard. Map 3, that was tough. And it's hard, you're coming into that from the E-boxes, and there's just a lot of separation and angles that can be taken by the 2 Ts that were still there on the site. It's such a gamble in where you're going to be looking first when you don't have any utility to cut one of them off.
Where was his fake plant that completely baited in Bubsky? So Bubsky goes, okay, I'm going to run through. And the thing that was quite impressive about that is he runs through, gets back into the smoke, and Yugi just pinpoint pings him through the smoke. So pause taken. They're with their backs against the wall again, but we saw them fight this back all the way to 14 in the previous map and then lose it right at the depths. North, they need just 1 round from 4, and they are through. They will eliminate Mad Lions and make it to the grand final.
Match point potential means everyone's coming out guns ablazing here. As much utility as they could bring to the table. And Bobsky, first to find some damage. Smokes are marked on down. And Mad Lions have 3 rotating over towards A. And it's Hunden and Zhush that will be watching over on the B site, occupying the mid rotations that are possible. Attempting to gather sight over the box, and Gade slowly moves up this A ramp. In typical fashion, Roy is the one to try and wait for that rotate and get some kind of a pick, but no one's going to be pulling their fire just yet. Not the time to be taking risks over on the Mad Lion side when you're 1 away from certain death. Kirby also finding some damage, but he stays alive. No one has fallen until this very moment when Gade and AZ are able to crack it open. The ultimate victory in their sights. Gade and Cajun B both popping it off. It's all on Acor's shoulders, but it's a difficult one for him to try to take with this op, if it's possible at all. North feel the victory within the wind. They smell the potential of a final performance, facing off against Mad Lions with very limited resources at their disposal. Acor moving in towards that B site. Bomb has been planted, but even AZ is able to rotate towards the back if need be. All the time on the clock, Cajun B gets the last shot. A victory for the north side, saying you may be Mad Lions now, but we were the ones with the long veins here first. Our mains going in the wind, as we will be rotating into the final series of the day. Of course, they'll have to await who their opponent will be, but that was a hard-fought battle all the way through map number 3, and a victory on Vertigo.
Yeah, and real resilience shown as well. I think we got sort of the stars aligning. I think that a lot of the players started to play well. We got clutches even from players that we definitely haven't seen the best from. I think right in the end, the sort of Yugi couple of AWP kills that made a big difference to any sort of comeback. Also, I think that they were really good at countering the aggression that came out from the CT side, because that's something that I feel like a lot of teams have struggled to deal with from Mad Lions, is the fact that they really love taking that ramp control. And I think, as said, we saw Roy have a lot of problems trying to deal around that scaffolding, and because of it, they got punished.
Yep. Every time somebody was there in kind of that ramp passageway where a lot of CTs love to sit, they had an answer. And just in the duels themselves, a lot of it coming out advantageous for them in the end. A lot for them to be proud of, and then also should set them up nicely when going into the finals. Not sure who their opponent is going to be yet, but you got kind of a warm-up here. Lots of different play that you had to deal with a team with which you are extremely familiar.
Yeah, well, they're either going to face someone crazy or a god, so it's not going to be easy, whoever they come up against, but I think it's going to be a good matchup, and I'm looking forward to the next one especially, because two teams I enjoy to watch, but I feel like there's going to be a few people waiting to maybe break this one down for us, who probably know a little bit more than us. I don't know, we'll see.
Thank you so much for that, Tom. Yes, we are ready to break this match down, and what a match it was. We were definitely not expecting this to go in the way of North.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Mad Lions on paper with looking like the better team. If looking at the maps as well, once Overpass came in by North, I'm like, that looks a little iffy. And we saw Mad Lions take that, and then Dust too, right? They showed a lot of grit to bring it back. But at Vertigo, it just looked like they had their number. That abuse of the mid CD side of Mad Lions by Kirby, time and time again getting the flank in, and North just seemed like the better team, the better prepared team, ironically speaking. And sometimes, you know, that's what happens when you have a domestic matchup.
Yes, exactly. And we've actually got North's coach on the line after that fantastic victory. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. First up, obviously you guys lost on your map pick Overpass. What was the kind of thoughts of the team coming out of that one?
We actually thought that they would ban Overpass, and we expected that we were going to pick Inferno against them. But since they banned Inferno, Overpass was definitely our second choice. So I don't know really. We have been working on some stuff on Overpass. We didn't really get into the zone, and you could also feel that they were pretty prepared on that map as well. I think they knew that if they were going to ban Inferno, that we were going to ban Overpass. So we felt like we were blocked at some of the places that we tried to get through, and I think that we lost our heads sometimes, and yeah, so that's just it.
On that Vertigo map, one thing we noticed, Water and I both noticed, was how Kirby was able to get behind the players over the B bomb side. That mid area seemed to be quite exposed. Was it something you figured out on the fly in that map, or was it something you did a little bit of prep work for?
We haven't done a lot of prep work on them. Actually, we know who's holding which spot, but obviously I've been working together with Hunden before, and I know his tendencies and how he likes to play. I honestly think that he might be one of the best support players in the world, because he knows pretty much every flash in the game, and he's so good at taking initiative to help his mates. But that can also be maybe his weak spot sometimes, because that means that he will sometimes leave his spot in mid in order to help some of his teammates on the sides, and that gives Kirby the room to work mid and get behind them.
Now, I noticed you guys have slowed things way down, and that really allows Kirby to have the freedom to start lurking even towards that middle. On Vertigo, I noticed it on Train as well. A lot of lurking coming out of Kirby. Is that something you guys are taking a step to do purposely, or is that just how the game has been flowing for you guys in this tournament specifically?
I think that basically what we're trying to do right now is to make an aggressive playstyle on the CT side, where our strong side is that we are doing a lot of flash peeks for each other. On the T side, on the other hand, we like to slow things down. as long as we're just playing the default and we're putting the information and putting 2 and 2 together, we are pretty good at making space for each other. So if KRB is playing one side of the map and the other side of the map is starting to throw a different kind of nades, we automatically create some space for him to work on and create a good situation around him. And Marcus is, of course, very good at taking that initiative and controlling his teammates in order to create that space for himself.
Yes, exactly. Well, we'll be seeing you in the grand final later today, where you'll be facing either Crazy or Godsend. Who would you rather be facing in that matchup?
I don't really care. We just want to win against both of the teams. So.
Well, you've looked so hungry today. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of you in that grand final. Go and get some rest, and we'll see you later. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
It's so good to be able to hear from the coach from North, but also there were just so many crucial rounds that could have really gone either way for these teams throughout that match.
That Dust 2 game, I think, is where it swung, right? I did have this idea, like, once Overpass got picked by North, that's when I felt like Hunden's like, I feel a little comfortable now, I'm going to go with Dust 2 pick, and I'm never a big fan, even now, of Dust 2 being your pick in the best of 3 series. I don't mind it being a decider, but a Dust 2 can swing either way, right? And we saw a lot of huge individual plays coming out from the guys over at North, a lot of cool stuff coming out from the guys at Mad Lions as well. And Acor, I just want to touch upon this kid. It's like, I don't think he's even a kid, he's like 22 years old now, but 71 frags over 3 maps, and he's just been a revelation for me this tournament.
He has, and I have to agree, I think Dust 2 and Mirage are one of those maps that can either go 50-50, but yeah, I am actually very impressed with North's approach to all 3 of these maps. I think it takes a lot of great communication to be able to pull off exactly what they did in order to feed that information KRB's way. KRB's just taking in that info, figuring out exactly when his timing is going to be, and that really goes to show that I think North are playing at near 100% at the moment, and hopefully they're able to actually carry that through to the grand final.
Yes, exactly. That's kind of a point you brought up there, Blair. Acor finishing on 73 kills, which is insane. But also, a point you brought up, Hossa, KRB looking so dominant with 68 frags on the board. He's somebody that we've got to be watching out for coming into this grand final. Yeah,
you have to, right? It's 68-64 for AZ. I think that the 1-2 wombo combo of KRB and AZ has been really instrumental in them getting here. Cajun having some great moments as well. Gate being pretty solid as an in-game leader. Obviously some great mid-round calls coming out from him. But again, Yugi, right? Again, quiet. Again, he hasn't had a breakout game or a map in such a long time. At one point, you got to be asking, you need to step up here and there, right? He's doing his job, don't get me wrong, but if he elevates his level, North should be feeling more comfortable against teams like this. Then they should be a team who can contend against this top 10 team.
I have to agree with you, but at the same time, I think right now North are in a position where they're just trying to go for those baby steps, right? And I think because Yugi has so many flash assists, you mentioned it earlier on in the tournament.
He's the best flasher in the team.
Yeah, he's going through a bit of an identity crisis at the moment, trying to figure out exactly what kind of value he wants to bring to his team, and it seems like right now it's that more supporty style. And if North are able to convert series like this, especially when we know Mad Lions' map pool was so much more better going into this series, they should have been at an advantage. But if North are going to hustle everyone and come out in this manner, I think that's okay.
Yes, exactly.
For the time being.
Yeah.
For the time being.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there were so many crucial rounds in that whole best of 3. Posse, you've picked out one for us. What are we going into here?
Yes, so we're going to jump into this overpass here, and you heard the North coach talking about all the little gimmicky things that they were working on. Unfortunately, North lost this map, but I really appreciated their approach towards this banana. If we take a look at KRB here, he's outside of Monster near T-spawn. He's going to have that smoke ready and primed, and if we take a look at AZ and Gate here towards this short B, they're going to get ready to boost, but they're waiting for it. They're not boosting quite yet, and I think their timing was a little off. If they boosted just a split second earlier, they would have had the look that they were looking for. But take a look at KRB's smoke. It's going to land right here towards this pillar, blocking off Bubsky's line of sight, so he has to respect that. He's going to adjust to get another angle, and that was the opening that AZ and Gade were waiting for. They were waiting for Bubsky to get manipulated, move exactly where they wanted him to go. Unfortunately, that timing was just slightly off. That's okay though. Bubsky makes his way back over to this monster, and the most impressive thing is this monster hold. This crossfire between Bubsky and Shush, it was played to perfection. Shush has this MP9 towards this monster, and it's all about Bubsky here, throwing distractions, drawing out that aggro, making sure that these members coming at a monster feel as uncomfortable as possible. If we take a look at Bubsky's point of view here on his screen, you're going to see his movements. He's not really going for the kills. He's not trying to be flashy here. He's just being a complete team player. He understands his role, and it works out so well in that small choke point.
Yes, exactly. I think that's one thing that we really do have to give a testament to Mad Lions for. It was an incredibly hard-fought battle, and particularly what you pitched on a bit earlier, Blair. Acor was looking so solid. But one thing I kind of want to touch upon was that Vertigo pick and the difference that we saw in Mad Lions compared to when they were facing Illumina in that best of one. Their CT side looked so strong. Here, as you were saying, Blair, they were giving up that mid control, and it just allowed North to get into it.
Yeah, it also goes down to the read they had, right? North did seem to have the read on Hunden, like he was the coach. He was in-game leading for Hunden back in the day as well, the coach of North. And it's interesting. I really enjoyed, even though North had a slow start, I've really enjoyed the T side that they've been showcasing so far in this event. It's slow-paced, it's not panicky. They rarely get ecoed. That's one thing I have to point out. Like compared to many other teams where you have some Deagle singing out loud and whatnot, they're so very calm and composed. And bear in mind, Mad Lions had so many rounds where they almost managed to get the eco win. They just like sent 5 players with USBs, but the protocols were always on point. They would never panic. They'd get a kill on the side. They'd get 2 kills on the side. They're like, hold on, might be a stack. Let's slow things down. We have the time to work with. It was textbook Counter-Strike, and it worked out for them.
Yes, exactly. And that's kind of what happened on Dust 2, a little bit what you were alluding to there with Mad Lions. When it got to 10-15, and then they managed to get those 3 rounds in a row, and it looked like we were so convinced it was going to be going to overtime, right?
I was convinced. I actually put up a wager with Potter. I'm like, this is going to go to overtime. They're going to win it. Unfortunately, it didn't work. There was a really cool round. I know we weren't able to get the clip. It was Bubsky. You pointed it out in a short.
Yes. That was so cool. I mean, he was able to, and this is the personality.
It was a 2v2, by the way, right?
Yes, it was a 2 versus 2, and the personality that comes out of these players in those tense clutch moments is spectacular to see. Basically, in this round, Bubsky and his mate was rotating towards Cat, but his teammate actually made an audible and went to long, so Bubsky picks up the op, shoots it, then picks up the A4 again and shoots that, and it makes it sound like there's 2 defenders coming to retake the site towards that Cat, and it made it, and they actually converted that round, so these little small, minute details actually can change the tide completely of a round.
And especially for such a young player. Bear in mind, I mean, you've heard the name for a while, but he's still a pretty young, new, fresh face in the scene, right? So it's really cool to see some of these younger players stepping it up. And for Mad Lions, yeah, they come out 3rd, 4th in the tournament, but I wouldn't be disappointed. I think they've really showed a lot of heart. They've had a great start with this particular lineup, and I'm looking forward to them.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we were saying earlier. What we love so much about DreamHack Opens is that they can bring those sort of smaller, up-and-coming teams to the top, and we definitely have seen that with Mad Lions. But that isn't all the Counter-Strike goodness we have got for you today. We're going to be finding out who will be facing North in our grand final later today in our second semi-final after this break. Don't go anywhere.